question because you want to know whether it is fard or wajib or, what's the question. You look for the legal default that applies to the issue. Look for the evidence in usul, qawaid, maqasid, and at the end of the day, you look at what's the wisest, best alternative. Is it to classify it as haram, makruh, mubah, fard, whatever, or is it to go back to the legal default? This is the triangulation in ijtihad. But in gymnastics, intellectual gymnastics, there can be accidents. You see this net? This is a safety net. Usul al-Fiqh has some safety nets. And the safety nets are held primarily by the maqasid and the qawaid. In Usul al-Fiqh, those safety nets are in the form of consideration of maslaha, saddu zariya, and istihsan. So, istihsan, the wisest opinion, blocking harm and preventing harm, public interest, these form the safety nets. So that in all the, remember it's juristic reasoning, you could make mistakes. To reduce error, to prevent harm, where do we normally find safety nets? If I say go and take a picture of a safety net, or you write safety net on Google, what type of pictures do you think you will find? In sports? High jump? No, they just have a big mattress.
And that's what it means.
Okay, so it does the job of a safety net. Okay, so you usually find it in circuses where people do these trapeze, jumping from hold one rope, somersault, catch another person, all in the air. So the camera will show that one, but the moment the camera goes down, you'll see a big net. Sometimes in construction sites. Yeah. They will have safety nets to make sure no building material or person falls and just hits the ground. So, in the operation of ijtihad, safety nets are there to make sure that the maqasid of preventing harm, because the maqasid are divided into two, jalb al-masalih and dar al-mafasid, accruing benefit and preventing harm. The enjoining right and forbidding wrong. So the safety nets make sure that ijtihad does not end up enjoining what is wrong. That ijtihad does not end up enjoining what is wrong. In the qawaid, harm must be eliminated. And so that makes sure whatever ijtihad you are going to do, you do not break that maxim. You do not end up bringing harm in the name of Sharia. So these are why these safety nets are so critical, and we will come back to them inshallah. As we said, we are going through coatings of paint. How many coatings have we done so far?
Is it correct to say two for me?
Okay.
One also and advisor.
Okay, so for somebody it was two coatings. So a coating means we cover nearly everything and then we come back again and we go around things. So basically a lot of repetition. It's just that every time you go with a repetition, you either bring a metaphor here, you go a bit deeper here. Yeah, so we will continue doing that. So this diagram is another coating. Yeah, this is just quickly going through what we have said and how they interconnect. Another metaphor we will be using is about a family that had the problem of a sick cow. A man who is quite respected A man well respected in his community and is viewed as someone who every Eid al-Adha, Big Salah, even in Ramadan, he is into feeding. Wealthy people who know he is connected to the orphanage, the this, the that, they trust him. So every Eid, people will bring something for him to distribute. So they do that in Ramadan. Sacks of rice, sacks of this, zakat, they just give it to him. And his name is Malam Adam. Or do I just put it in my pocket? Because the way it fell yesterday, I'm afraid. Yeah? I leave it here. It won't fall. If I put it in my pocket, is it okay? I know. It looks as if every time it falls, it can be a costly. All right. So this Malam Adam, his name. Ramadan, periodically people bring things for him to distribute. Hajj period this year, and say you are a member of the family. People bring rams. Normally they bring probably 3, 4 rams, and he would distribute. This one to the orphanage, this one to the home of the elderly, this one to the leprosy home, this one to one Islamia that has a lot of poor children, al-Majaris, they would share. But in this particular year, he was going for Hajj with his wife. So he gathered his family and told them, your mother and I are going for Hajj. As usual, people would most likely bring food, and for Big Salah, they normally would bring animals. They usually don't bring more than around 3, 4 maximum. So, this year, when I'm gone, you will have to represent me. So I want you to write down some instructions. If a ram comes, first ram should go to the orphanage. Are we together? Second ram goes to the home of the elderly. Third ram goes to the leprosy home. Fourth ram goes to that Islamia Malam that's in the neighborhood. First ram goes where? Number 2, elderly. Number 3, leprosy. Number 4, Islamia. If anything else is to come, they bring rice, they bring additional ram, whatever else is to happen, consult with each other, but represent me in such a way that when I return and you say, they only brought 3 rams, or whatever happens, discuss, but use your head in representing me. So you should ask yourself, what would I have done if I was around? Are we together? Yes. And make me proud. So that if you say, they brought 7 rams, no problem. Use your head and ask yourself, if I was around, what would you do with the extra 3 rams? If they brought extra 2, use your head, and whatever conclusion you reach, when I come back, I want to know how you arrived at that conclusion and why you believe that's what I would have done if I was around. Are we together? Yes. Yeah. He traveled with his wife. As Eid time got closer, 3 days before Eid, sure enough, somebody brought a ram. Any problem what to do with the ram? No. What do you think in their heads that one is for? Orphanage. Second ram came. Any problem? No. Goes to the elderly. Why? Why no problem? Clear instruction, it's written. Okay, there's what you call nas. Yes, it's written instruction. Nobody is arguing about it. 2 days before Eid, they are expecting maybe ram number 3 or 4. Everybody is thinking, okay, if it's more, and when we have more than 4, we will start discussing what to do. But before that, there's no need for any ijtihad. Are we together? There's no need for us to start some independent reasoning when there's clear instruction on what to do. Three days before Eid, an additional ram came. 2 days before Eid, a cow came. Ram number 1 will go to where? Ram number 2. Ram number 3. Cow. Okay, somebody said Islamia, somebody said wait. Okay, a new context. But somebody is trying to do qiyas and say cow is like ram. You should go to the Islamia. Okay? So now we have a new situation and they want to represent their father in his absence. And the question is, how do they go about that? So they need to discuss. Okay, Baba didn't say anything about cow. In fact, we've never had anybody bring a cow before. The only cow they remember for Eid is how many, more than 20, 30 years ago, our father told us that when his father was alive, he was playing the same role of giving and helping the community. And they remember a cow was given. We've heard that from our father in discussions. The father, very wise. But the kids now get together to discuss, talk. What do we do about the cow? As they started to discuss, the question was, this is very important because the meat of this cow is equivalent to about 5 other rams. The question is, how would our father have handled this? Somebody said, simple thing. Let's just call Baba and ask. Every attempt to call, nothing working. They couldn't get in touch with him. Phone lost, reception problem. No, he didn't get a new card. He's not on roaming. They couldn't get in touch with mother. They couldn't get in touch with their father. Question to you all. What would you recommend in your consultation as the family? Assume you are the elder brother or elder sister, and you are part of the family discussion, what would you recommend? I'll give you a minute to think about it. What should be done with the cow? You are to represent your father in his absence. Are we together? You are to make a decision that when he comes, he will not be angry with you. He will say, MashaAllah. Even if you are not correct, he can say, you tried. Yes. You tried to represent me in my absence. You are like my ambassador. Any suggestions? Yes.
I think maybe they should sell the cow and use the money to buy other, say, 4 or 5 rams instead of giving one to the leprosy, instead of giving one to that.
Okay. So one, we have them all on the board. We have them all on the board. Thank you. So one, sell, buy rams. But you'll buy what? 5 extra rams, cool? You still have to crack your head. So what are you going to do with the rams? But no problem. That's one suggestion. Anybody else? The cow or the ram? Slaughter the cow. Slow. Yes?
And share it compassionately
Okay.
with other beneficiaries.
So, like, basically the same 4 locations.
So those are what we are initially. You scale it,
Okay.
so that it will be shared.
Okay. So, you will still give to the orphanage this, based on quantity. So, those who didn't get ram will get more cow. So, if effectively, they will each get equal kilo. Okay. Any other suggestions? What to do with the cow?
When you slaughter the cow, it should not be shared to those who are slaughtering rams. So they should look elsewhere to the less privileged, so that it can be shared among them.
Okay. Any suggestions, sisters? Okay. Another brother.
Yes, for fear of misrepresenting Baba. And since there is no clear instruction what to do, he didn't mention cow, so we keep the cow and give it to us.
Kawe. All right. Another idea. Good. Okay.
I disagree with you.
It's allowed.
Yes, on the basis that if you keep the cow, it exposes you to cost of maintenance and possibly exposes the cow to some illness.
Okay.
I will go ahead and give the cow to this lady.
Good. All right. Sisters, we've not heard anything from you. You are also members of the family. What to do with the sick cow? How would you best represent your father in his absence? Sorry, not sick cow, just a cow. Yes.
I remember when you were discussing, you said their father told them that his father had that scenario. So why don't they think of what their father said and just use that?
Okay. So you can't blame them for doing what their grandfather, because the father seemed to be quite proud of saying this is what the grandfather did. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Well, I think to me, we will slaughter the cow because, as the third speaker said, we should keep the cow because there was no instruction given when a cow is brought, you should do this. So, keeping the cow will lead to the Islamia not having anything at all.
Good.
So, we have to slaughter the cow, weigh it as the second speaker said. We should share it according to kilo. The amount of meat that will be given to the Islamia should be equal to those rams. And the rest of the meat should be given to the less privileged because we want to make our father proud, as he said before.
So you are thinking not just the 4 places he mentioned,
Yes.
but other people, because you have more meat than was earlier expected. Do we understand that logic? So when we look at what to do, oh, this is the instruction. So a lot of what you have given is what is called common sense answers. Good, nothing wrong with them. Good common sense answers. Some said consult other family members and friends. Okay, so when we have put this problem to groups, one of the things they say is, wait, cow, if it was a ram, whatever, it is simple, straightforward. But cow, okay, this is too important. Let's widen the consultation. So for some, we will consult other family members and friends of our father. For some, ask dad's closest friend and companion. Why? Because if Baba says, what will you do? Say, Baba, this friend of yours was with you in primary school, secondary school. He was he knows you better than us. So whatever he says, we are sure will represent you better than us who are quite young. Are we together? Somebody else said, ask vet doctor. Why vet doctor? Well, they are more accustomed to animals and all of that. Somebody said, just give it a sadaqah. Look for some poor people. Hey, Gashi, do what you are going to do with it. Others say, slaughter it and share the meat. We heard that suggestion. Some said, we'll come to the medication before. Some said, the donor of the cow. Ask the donor, what should we do? We'll talk about those who said send it back. We'll come to the sick cow thing later. Because the cow is not yet sick. Are we together? Sell it, buy another, or swap it. Ask livestock sellers. What is usually done? Consult the intended beneficiaries. Ask poor people, what do you think we should do? Etc.
That is, in this case, we have Islamia.
So we can ask Islamia. Then, yeah, we have a cow. What do you suggest? Oh, we want it all. Or, there's another Islamia branch we have. Or there's a whatever. Or the Imam is going to say, looking at our numbers, we don't need more than half because we don't have storage. So we can. Or give us the cow. We will sell it because we will have some food, but we will also need, we are able to buy a few things we need for the Islamia. Oh, that's your own problem. But it will be the Islamia that's deciding what they want to do with their own. Now, if you look at some of these options, consult family members and all of that, these are all good. As the family was having this discussion, one of the younger sisters came and said, Yaya, the cow is sick. Cow is sick. Yes. Very sick. Security man says we should call vet. Okay, we have a number. Vet guy comes, looks at the thing and says, this cow is one of those that every time there's Eid, they bring them from long distances, from Mali, Cameroon. And unfortunately, because of Eid, many of these trailer people want to come drop cows, go, bring more. They are normally supposed to rest on the way. This cow has not rested. It's probably been on the road for the last 4 or 5 days. It's stress. They give them a shot of antibiotics and boost them for the trip. But many of them, if you do not slaughter them immediately, this stress can kill them. So you ask the dog, vet, you mean we cannot medicate? He said, you can. But if you medicate the cow, it'll have to be another powerful dose of antibiotics. You cannot eat the cow till after 2 weeks. But there's a 50-50 chance it may survive, it may die. You choose. Of these options, now you are dealing with a sick cow. and you ask the vet doctor, if it's going to die, when is it going to die? It's not lifting its head. You may have 30 minutes, you may have 1 day. Or we can medicate it and see what happens. Which of these would you consider practical? Which one would you say, Kai?
For me, I think we should go for slaughter and share out the meat.
So, safer side, go. Slaughter and share out the meat. Others? Or let me start, which one will you not spend time doing? Consultation?
Send it back.
You will not send it back. Okay? Why will you not consult other family members? No time. No time. What again, sister?
I said I won't be asking the donor.
You will not ask the donor. Okay? Why? He doesn't understand the situation. Like how sick, what we all learned from the vet. In other words, there's a difference in context between just a cow and a sick cow regarding what your options are. Two approaches. What is the source of a solution and what is a solution? If you look at these, this is a solution, give it out. Slaughter and share, this is a solution. Consult is looking for somebody else to give you a solution. Consult is giving somebody else the responsibility. Ask that is somebody else that's going to be responsible. In other words, why are you consulting family members or friends or this one, or consulting a vet or consulting livestock farmers? Because you feel they might have experienced this before. I think they will be better representatives of Dad's wisdom than me. Are we together? So we can divide these into two groups. One is where instead of what to do, let's first ask who is the best to make that decision. So let's not prescribe. Let's look for better sources of answers. So, sources of solution before solution. Let's look at a step-by-step method and sequence of critical thinking for determining what to do. What is the most credible source of information that is for representing our Father in his absence? What's the evidence? Before we start looking at the options. What will be a method before results? That's why for masters again, before you start telling us your results, first materials and methods. This is my methodology, and then let's hear what your results were. So you want to look at the source of the best solution before the solution. What's a credible source of guidance before we look at advice? Who is the expert before what is the expert opinion? Let's find the right person before we consider the advice. What's the equation in maths before the answer? Let's get the usul before the fiqh. When we say common sense answer, no problem. It comes as common sense. But what's a structured, agreed, methodical method of common sense is what usul al-fiqh is about. So as opposed to what should we do with the sick cow, and we have some scattered ideas, usul will say, but there are some sources of guidance, like Quran, like Sunnah, like consensus. Yeah, agreement of closest family and friends. Like Qiyas. This is similar to grandfather's case. In other words, this type of thing is not new. And we can easily tell our father what happened before, we will do. So, there's an intuitive answer, which is common sense. There's a verifiable, agreed superior approach. Excuse me. There's a lay person's approach, there's how the expert approaches common sense. This is all repeating what we have said. So regarding the sick cow, one source of a solution is to go to primary guidance, the original source, the highest authority, which would have been just to find out what the father had said. So if the father had actually given guidance on cow or sick cow, it would have been quite straightforward, no dispute. If we don't find anything there, then we would look at, are there better minds, existing options? Who would know better? And then we start looking at creative solutions. Regarding the sick cow, original source would have been, let's consult our father, in particular, or mother. But what's the problem? Not reachable. The options, therefore, to look at better minds. Who would know better? Who's the best representative or alternative to the primary source, our father? And then if we can't find anything there, think for ourselves what to do. And we will triangulate. For the sick cow, one option is, what would our family, and let me put it this way. If we say, go for alternatives, in other words, instead of you coming up with solution, what would you recommend? What are some of those answers we have gotten? So one is, look for consensus. Okay? Can we consult the family and they all agree? If all dad's closest family members and closest friends were all to agree, do you think dad will tell us we did something wrong? No. Do you think he will be able to challenge that? In fact, we will be able to say, Baba, we consulted auntie this, uncle that, grandfather this, your best friend, your second best friend, your colleague, your whatever. All of them had concluded that we should slaughter the cow immediately and distribute the meat. All of them. Have we not done something that represents you the best? Probably if you are alive, you are with us, you would have said, Kai, let me consult them. Are we together? Yeah. In other words, a very rational thing to do is to see if there can be consensus of the experts. This is what is called ijma. Are we together? Ijma. If the family decided, you know what to do, we remember that in the past there was one sick ram or there was another sick cow, then we will look at this situation as similar to that one. What type of reasoning is that? Yes. What is yes? Analogical reasoning. So you are looking at similarity between that case and this case and saying, if that was wise to do, if that was the hikmah, that was wisdom in that case, then that is good wisdom to do in this case. So that is reasoning by analogy with a past option. Another option is ask the companions of the Prophet. In the case of the sick cow, somebody who we know, if we told Baba, when the sick cow, we just ask Grandpa. Is he going to say, why would you ask Grandpa? And he is sensible, he is mature, he's got experience, he knows you. And we told him, what would Baba have done? Baba, knowing him, he would most likely, he may even say exactly the same thing. He would say, slaughter the cow immediately. He's a very pragmatic person. Or he may say, call a butcher. Are you interested in buying this cow? Yes. Give us the money. And let us look at Abundan. Why? Because he has friends who are working in the animal area. So he probably might do that. And go for what will, because there you can say the local practice. Is this, is there a normal thing that is done in this town when an extra cow or gets sick, what's the usual thing? Okay, so there may be something that's already well known. We will jump some of these like legal default because you've been given the option of you decide what you want to do. In other words, from the point of view of the dad, everything is halal except what is haram. So just use your head to find what to do. We can look at grandfather's time. Okay, so we can call it analogy with the past. We can look at it as like shar'u man qablana. Okay, in other words, this was done in the past by a respected individual, and we will do the same now. So there's some precedent. When you say, why did you do it? Because it was done. Ra'i of a Sahaba. Ra'i. And we will come to that quoting in a minute. Or you could look at something that is the customary norm. This is not the first time cows are getting sick. The vet may already know what to do. If you say, what's your professional advice? Or people who sell cows. These cows that are brought, when they are brought to the market and they fall sick, what happens? Are there already some known butchers who are ready to buy sick cows? Okay. So we may not need to crack our heads on what to do. There's already oath. There's already a custom around it. Or let's use our own head. Because sometimes when you look at this, you find, well, we thought of consensus and it was one conclusion. Or we feel, man, we don't have time to be consulting everybody. Or the analogy with the past, it was a ram that got sick. This is a cow. This is equivalent to 5 rams. We're not comfortable with that analogy. So you may have differences here that require you to use your own head. And somebody decides what is in the interest. Like this cow was sent for what? For Eid, right? To benefit poor people. So let's make sure it gives the maximum benefit to the maximum number of people. Are we together? Yeah. So somebody may decide, somebody from the other table was saying, you know what, since they didn't say, we will not just look at the Islamia, we'll look beyond. Yeah, maximize the benefit. Some other person is concerned about whatever you are going to do with this cow, it must not die. Are we together? Yeah. We can consult. The cow will die. Yes, it's too risky. Sorry? Yes, so that whatever you're going to do, consider the risk you're taking. Yeah, what's going to happen to our relationship with the donor that the cow died? Mushe, najas, nobody slaughtered it. Yeah. So this talk of we should medicate, we should, the risks are too much. But the animal is suffering. The person is thinking of the harm and suffering caused to the animal. Another person is thinking of the wastage of the meat. But the concern is, what is the risk? What is the harm that is related to this discussion? And they will say, in the Arabic, they will say, Dar'ul mafasid awla min jalbil masalih. Preventing harm is greater than accruing benefit. So if you say, okay, there's benefit in this one, there's benefit in it, okay, just let it not die. Whichever one we go and do with it is not a big problem, but let it not die. Another person says, we have listened to everybody and all their suggestions. Let us now conclude on what the wisest thing to do. Are we together? Yeah. So this is after listening to all, considering the factors. Yes, we've heard the advice. What is the best thing to do? So in fiqh, this is called maslaha. We'll ask you, Ma, that question. What can the family easily all agree upon? They can easily agree on what there's a consensus, right? What was written. What would the family have difficulty arriving at an agreement over? It is on what to do because they are doing their own ijtihad, their own reasoning. So please remember, ijtihad comes with this issue of disagreement. Like they come packaged. The moment there is some dhanni or speculation, you saw that equation yesterday, Ko? The moment there is dhanni, there is speculation, you will have to have ijtihad. The moment there is some ambiguity, you have to use your head to maximize reason. And the moment you're going to use your head, we all have different heads. We're going to have khilaf. We're going to have difference. And the moment you're going to have difference, prepare to preserve brotherhood and unity. So remember those 4 things. Ambiguity, new situation, sick cow, automatically means use your head. Ijtihad. Ijtihad automatically means differences. Khilaf. Differences automatically mean let's preserve unity. Let's not break unity because of our ikhtilaf. Are we together? Yeah. So remember those 4. Presumption, dhanni, speculation, uncertainty, change in context, new situation, automatically means use your head. Ijtihad. Using your head based on my own experience and your different experience and your intelligence and my this and whatever. You are more, emotionally intelligent. I am maybe more morally this or more socially that or more whatever my priorities, we will differ. Differences in that would result in khilaf for which we need to agree to disagree agreeably. Yeah, we need the etiquettes of adab, of how to preserve unity, how to lubricate our relationship. You know the job of lubrication in the engine, Ko? Yeah, is to make sure it doesn't knock. Yeah. How do we make sure we continue openly to have disagreement without it fracturing our relationship? Let me ask you, what is your biggest takeaway from the metaphor of the sick cow? Group discussion for 1 minute. 1 minute, and then we will hear from every group. This metaphor of the sick cow, what is your one takeaway? Yawa, Imam, Bismillah.
Actually,
Alaikum salam. Please, let's pay attention. Let's pay attention, please. Yes.
Already the father used instruction. So that is Nas, Quran, or Sunnah. Then Alhamdulillah, something comes up. So then really they have to decide and also try to do their best in order to make their father proud. So they goes with ijma. Even Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala really supported ijma with provided a chapter that is sure. And Alhamdulillah, within our discussion, say that can you challenge that something that people gathered and also have one opinion about it? You can challenge it. And also if they told their father that that is how they solve this problem, it's the best. For me, ijma is the best.
Thank you very much. All right. Any other group? What was your takeaway from the metaphor?
That's the way. One sentence.
Good.
In Islam, anything that there is no answer to it from the original source, the way out is to use our faculty to follow the way out and the solution.
Good. Thank you. Another group? Sisters? Okay.
Okay, just as I said, so we should not always jump to conclusion. So let's go back to other sources where we can get answers from before conclusion.
Good. So point there. Okay, for the sake of up and down, we'll do this table. We'll do one per table because of time. We'll do this table, we'll go to sisters, another sister, and then we'll come back. But this point that he made, whenever you find a dilemma, don't jump to the most instinctive answer. Don't go with just common sense. First ask who would be the best to consult. Are we together? Yeah. This first al-wahl dhikr. Consult those who know. So before, what should be done? Who would know better than me? Nobody? Or there's no time? Or there's whatever? Okay, now let me start thinking. Are we together? Yes. So good?
Yes. One of the lessons is some people beyond when confronted with new context. That's unlike what I said earlier, that we will just fold our arms and not do anything to the cow. Just like what also used to happen that when imagine issues come up, some people will say, no, we will not see anything about it. And it is only Islamic, we even reject it completely. Just like the case of maybe turning the cow to the dog. It's like you are rejecting it, you are not accepting new context, you are not finding solutions for them for Islam.
Excellent. So very important point. As Muslim professionals, the responsibility, we touched this yesterday, it doesn't disappear. It just shifts. If there's no mufti, it's you. But it doesn't like, we'll fold our arms, I'm not qualified, I'll not do it. The cow will die. And then who? There are real consequences and somebody has to take responsibility for action or inaction. Whichever one it is, you are responsible. Why? You are the one who is on the site. And for most professionals, when problems come, you are frontliners. Yeah. You get to hear about the problem before any mufti gets to know about it. When people embrace Islam, over 95% of people who embrace Islam do not embrace Islam because of a scholar. Over 95 people who embrace Islam didn't embrace Islam because of a scholar. It was some frontliner dawah person, somebody who not even in dawah. And his friend says, I think I want to become a Muslim. You want to? Yeah. Then, okay, who should we? I have one friend. Before we know it, then we go to the imam. Usually it's just to put the icing on the cake. Yeah.
For us, the need of safety, whatever decision is taken, and every decision is tied down because when you take too long, the opportunity is lost.
Good. So at the end of the day, respect the unity. Mr. was, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. What I'm taking away is that sometimes something is really very simple can lead to the development of profound solutions to problems of the world.
Excellent.
Something really very simple, something that one person can decide, okay, this is what we should do. But if you put it in a consultation, asking experts and things like that, can lead to the development of profound solutions.
Wonderful. Because as we will see, we will pull up this metaphor of the sick cow and take it further. And the importance of, you know, this istihsan, this finally was the wisest. It's the last thing you do. Yeah. So get as many ideas as possible before you settle on one. Don't, instinctively, just one. It doesn't mean it's bad, but that's a common sense. A structured form of common sense is before we conclude, yeah, what other options? They used to say, one of the Sahaba said, I have never met anybody that was as consultative as the Prophet ﷺ. In management, they say the most important sentence in management is what? Sentence in management. What do you think? Yeah. For any manager, what do you think? Yeah. You don't just build people, but you get ideas from angles you wouldn't have expected. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think? So.